Well, to begin, let me ease your minds and let you know that this will not be a typical Mother's Day sermon. Everybody feel better now? Okay. um, the gift of nurturing and being nurtured, and its cultivating of our hearts, and what makes is actually what makes us who we are. Sometimes this gift of nurturing in our lives comes at birth from our biological mother. Sometimes it comes from our adopted mothers. Sometimes that mother can be a male. Sometimes that mother can be a female. Sometimes that mother could be non-binary. Sometimes that mother can be trans. Sometimes a mother can just be a person who changes your life along your path of existence. So today we hold reverence and gratitude for those extraordinary people who nurtured us to the best of who we are, times when we have nurtured others. The experiences I'm going to share today will be through my own personal lens, my life, and they will be focused on three kinds of nurturing, or experiences of nurturing. Now, I know a few weeks ago when we were doing our talk on light and shadow, I mentioned a little bit about my mother and her struggles with depression, but that was just one part of who she was. She was a pretty extraordinary woman. She was dignified, intelligent, and incredibly creative. She could draw, sing, and she could play music just by ear. She would create and loved beauty, but cooking, it just wasn't her thing, to tell you the truth. Well, at least not American food. But her Armenian food was off the charts. I was the firstborn in America. And Mom saw people do this tuna fish sandwich thing, right? And so she would take a can of tuna, open it up, put it on the bread, no mayo, nothing, just the tuna. And then she would get a nice fresh leaf of what she thought was lettuce, but it was actually cabbage. And she'd put that on there too. And then there was always the spaghetti, which she, would make. She made the spaghetti fine, but then she would add butter and then always a little ketchup for the red sauce. Mickey, keep track of all this. This is good for your comedy. And finally, she tried. Heaven knows, she burnt almost everything. And thank God we had a dog, a big dog. I would slip the food to under the table. But my mother had a tenderness about her. And that tenderness in her awakened a tenderness in me. When the kids on the street would bully me sometimes because I was different, and being different was always that bullseye, right, for a little harassment in life. Mom would always tell me not to raise my hands to hit anyone or to fight. And as I grew, I learned how to defend myself and others without raising my hands. And for that, I am grateful. She made me tender. She showed me beauty. She took me to gardens and museums and awoken a love for nature in me. Still to this day, my favorite place, my temple, is the woods. And I love to be surrounded by flowers and gardens. I never not notice it. So our mothers or our early nurturers can give us great gifts. Sometimes we have to look for them. Sometimes they're not always as evident in our hindsight. We might have another story in our mind. But there are many opportunities and people that might come in and out of our lives to nurture us. So I mentioned my mom, my early nurturing, but I had another mother. And this mother's name, his name was Gene. His name was Gene Lang. And he came into my life when I was 21. I was hired to work in a printing company. I was the only female union worker there, and I worked with 100 men. I felt very much like I was a mouse in a room full of cats, to tell you the truth. Honestly, I was young and I was innocent, but I was blessed by who befriended me. The one man in this whole group that was different than all of them. See, Gene was Black, and he would have identified, or we would have identified him as gay. So everybody else was a white male, and you had Gene and I. And he, God, he was amazing. He was built like a boxer. He had a laugh that bellowed. You would hear him through every room in this printing company. He was a fine artist, a cartoonist, a playwright, and he identified himself as a mystic. And he befriended me. He fell from heaven right into my lap. And so at that time in my life, aside from having to deal with the fact that, I was this woman in this company, I was also coming to terms with the fact that I realized I was gay. And I had such a profound shame about this. And I knew that many people in my world, if they knew who I was, I would be shunned, right? I would be ostracized or certainly profoundly judged. And I was scared. But Gene, and I came to Gene about it, and Gene said, I said, I'm gay. You're gay, and he said, I'm not gay. He said, I'm Gene. Gene would not accept the label. He never wanted to be stuck in a box. And I like that. I've always wrestled with labels too. And Gene invited me. Gene was 20 years my senior, and he would invite me to hang out with other people that identified as mystics that were also 20 years my senior, who would meditate and do all kinds of spiritual work and have deep conversations. And some of them were yogis, some of them did all different practices. And he opened me into a whole nother world of spirituality and of accepting myself. Heaven knows what my life would have been if Gene did not fall into my lap. I feel he is my soul family, and one of the people that really nurtured me and allowed me to courageously be who I am. So thank you, God, for Gene. And Gene's on the other side as well, but I'm sure he's very close by for this talk. I feel like he's part of my soul family. So in taking time to prepare for this service today, for me, it was healing, because it gave me an opportunity to consider how I was nurtured and what woke up in me in these times by these people. Something I never really thought about that much, I don't know if we all do, really. And I feel like it healed some of my wounds with my mom. A lot of us do have, it's not all good or all, one way or another. Relationships have many sides. And I have a lot of gratitude for her today. But I thought this might be a good moment to invite us all to just go inside for a moment and just take a second, maybe close our eyes, and to scan our minds and to find one or two people who have nurtured us on our road. It could be early childhood nurturers. It could be a mother, a dad, an aunt. Or it could have been somebody that inspired you to be who you are. Let's just think about what that gift might have been we received. Let that sit with us a little. And then now let's just move into gratitude, because gratitude brings the awareness of gifts to become part of us. And I invite you, if you're comfortable, to just say aloud, thank you. And come on back into the room in our space. How was that? Okay, welcome back. So we've taken time to think about who has nurtured us. Okay. So I'd like to turn our attention to to who we have nurtured. Because if you have a breath, you've nurtured somebody or something in your life. So I asked myself the question, who have I nurtured? And the answer became clear to me. I'm going to give you a little background story. It's a little funny. So when I was 49, almost 50, my cousin turned around and said to me, hey, my cousin's like my sister. She's 10 years younger. She said, hey, what would you like for your 50th birthday? And I thought about it a little bit. And I said, hey, I know what I want. And she said, what? I said, I think I'd like you to have a baby. And so she looked at me like I was out of my mind and laughed. And then a few months later, she handed me an envelope a little while, maybe 6 months before my birthday. And she said, hey, here's our early birthday present for you. I said, oh, I don't want a present now. She goes, just open it. And I opened it, and there was a sonogram in the envelope. And so she gave me my present. My niece Olivia was born exactly 2 weeks to the day after my 50th birthday. And I have a lot of nephews and nieces. I'm blessed. And every single one of them, I completely adore and are precious to me. And Olivia is one of them. And one of the gifts about Olivia is that she lives so close by that I got to be an intricate part of her life in a way where my other nephews and nieces live a little further. I didn't have that day by day relationship. So recently, right, Olivia's 14 now. I was with her on Friday and I said, Olivia, I said, did I nurture you? And she said, what's nurturing? What's that? What's nurture? So we went through what nurturing is. And she said, yes, you did. I said, how? What happened? And she said, you made me creative. She said, you weren't so much a grown-up, you were my friend. And then I was so grateful to hear that. And I thought a lot afterwards about what she and I used to do together. And from the age she was maybe 4 or 5, we used to go for walks. I'd say, come on, you want to go on an adventure? And she'd say, sure. And we'd go for a walk hand in hand around the neighborhood. We would talk to neighbors, strangers, pet dogs, walk in stores, see what people sold. There would be a group of hedges, and we would, in a park area, and we would make believe it was a castle and that we were princesses and that the bees were dragons and other insects and animals were all parts of the kingdom. We'd come home and sing songs and make up songs and play them on the guitar. And it was a creative playing relationship. And, to this day, I guess our relationship has got that quality to it. And, I feel, I got a chance to nurture her as a little girl, being her aunt, but she got to nurture me to be the person that I am through loving her. And she still does. And I'm very grateful for that. So I invite us now to take a moment to think about who you have given that gift of nurturing to. Who have you offered your gifts, whether it's joy, whether it's laughter, and it does not have to be a child. I've also had the pleasure of mentoring many people, ministers through seminary, and I've nurtured them, and in turn, they've nurtured me. So nurturing can have many sides. So let's just take a moment. Let's go inside one more time, and let's think about those moments where we have given a gift of who we are to someone else. You can you close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Settle in and just give some thought about what gift you've given. Get clear about it. And I welcome you, I invite you to say thank you to yourself and have gratitude to yourself for offering this part of yourself. Now come on back. Come on back to the room. All right. So we've talked about the past. Now let's talk about nurturing in the present and in the future. So I ask you a question to take this as we come towards the end of our sermon, our talk today. Who might you nurture now and to come? As I said before, as long as we have breath, we have an opportunity to nurture others. Nurturing is an opportunity to know and to share unconditional caring for another. And the opportunities are endless. So in closing today, what I hope to leave you all with is a realization. And the realization is that we belong to one another. It is through connection, the connection with each other, that we fully experience life. Whether the connection is with loved ones, friends, pets, nature, or being in service to a stranger, it is connection that gives meaning. It is the glitter on the gift and in the gift of being alive. So I'd like to close with an affirmation. As we leave this service today, may we awaken to our opportunities to give without condition. And may we be sources of nurturing in this world that needs it desperately. And may each of us awaken to the opportunity to give without condition. And may we all be sources of nurturing in a world that is longing to receive unconditional encouragement and sharing. May we leave this service more awakened to the gift that each of us are to one another. May it be so.
If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.